Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in. My goodness, there's so much to talk about. And I just want to say that, well, to my super chat, thank you so very much. You give me every incentive to rock these live streams. And can I tell you how much I love Tulsi Gabbard? Can I tell you how much I love the courage? I love the courage it takes to stand up for yourself. I love the courage it takes for Tulsi Gabbard to go up against the hello. I love the courage it takes for Tulsi Gabbard to stand up to a very, very powerful political machine. I think I'm voting for President Trump. I'm voting for President Trump. I'm not going to vote, even if Tulsi Gabbard were the Democratic nominee. I can't imagine myself voting for Tulsi because it would be the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party I'm frightened of. But I respect Tulsi Gabbard. I can envision myself in the future, perhaps, voting for Tulsi if, in 2024, the current Democratic Party is completely and utterly obliterated. But again, I don't know. I'm voting for President Trump in 2020. I'm voting for President Trump in 2020 primarily because there's no way that President Trump could in any way be intimidated. In any way be intimidated by the Democratic Party. There's just no way. And if you look at what took place today, so Hillary Clinton is going to run. This is obvious. She's not saying that Elizabeth Warren is a Russian operative. She's not saying that Biden worked with the Ukraine, even though she got that through. She's not saying that, Beto O'Rourke. She's going after one person because the only semblance, the ghost, and God bless him, I want him healthy and alive and well, even though I disagree with him vehemently, and even though I think a lot of the division in America is because Bernie Sanders didn't stand up. He could have simply stood up to the Democratic Party. This is essentially a cult-like mentality. Democrats are a political party. No one owes them allegiance. I am not a Republican. I am not a Democrat. I'm voting for President Trump because I like his policies, his foreign policy, his economic policy, and I like the fact primarily that he's going up against corrupt intelligence officials. But today, Clinton went after Tulsi Gabbard and accused Tulsi Gabbard of being a Russian operative. That's really funny. I don't remember Tulsi Gabbard having a foundation that took millions upon millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of dollars from people like Uranium One, like people who owned Uranium One, like people associated with the sale of 20% of U.S. uranium capacity. Eric H526! Thank you, Eric H526. Thank you. Thank you, Eric H526. You are awesome. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. Thank you. I don't remember Tulsi Gabbard visiting Vladimir Putin at his home. Oh, that was Bill Clinton. I just want to thank you, Vladimir. Thank you so very much. That vodka was so great. The caviar and the dessert. Oh, my goodness. Oh, that dessert was really good. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Vladimir Putin. Let me tell you something. He knows how to give good desserts. Let me tell you. When you visit Vladimir Putin, get away. Fly shoe. Get away from here. When you visit Vladimir Putin at his home, he just has a way of giving you the best treats. Not trick-or-treats, but the best treats. And I just thank you, Vladdy, honestly. And thank you so much for the $500,000 Moscow investment bank. I believe it was Renaissance Capital. Thank you. When did Tulsi Gabbard speak at Renaissance Capital or the investment bank in Moscow for $500,000? Oh, no, that was Bill Clinton. Oh, I'm sorry. When did Uranium One give millions into Tulsi Gabbard's foundation? Oh, that's right. That was Bill and Hillary's foundation. Sorry. Sorry. And here you have a situation where obviously, ladies and gentlemen, obviously, Clinton is running now, obviously. This is not even, people, this is not even a question. We know what's going on. Tulsi Gabbard was the biggest obstacle to Clinton. Clinton Golden Moo wanted to make sure that Tulsi Gabbard did not run a third party, well, first of all, this is the really hilarious thing. Why would Clinton, and this is how you know it's rigged, why would Clinton go after a candidate that had 1 or 2% in the polls? Can anyone answer that question? Why would Clinton go after? Why would the Golden Moo set her sights on a candidate that had 1 or 2% in the polls that technically Amy Klobuchar is ahead of or equal to in the polls? How does that work? How is that even possible? Sandiford! Clinton versus Gabbard. Sit back and enjoy yourself. Sandiford, I don't know if it's going to be, because the thing is right now, Tulsi Gabbard is not, she's amazing. She's brilliant. She's courageous. She's awesome. But right now, she doesn't really, it's not, what Clinton did was not necessarily to prevent Tulsi Gabbard from taking votes away. It was to ensure that anyone thinking of Tulsi Gabbard, it was to ensure that she was linked to the whole Russian propaganda nonsense. Family dinner! As a Dolphins fan, the only team more disorganized than us is the DNC. Yes. I loved Marino. Family dinner, thank you. Family dinner. I love Dan Marino. Love Marino. Marino was definitely awesome. Thank you, family dinner. Thank you. I mean, I remember the Duper and Clayton days. I'm wearing this only because I got I have a whole bunch of beanies, NFL beanies that were like 75% off, no joke. So I just have a whole bunch. So I have my Jets on. My Broncos right near here, and Phoebe Beach. This will backfire bigly on HRC when she runs. Everyone sees noxious smear against the vet. Phoebe Beach. Phoebe, thank you as always. One would think that you are sane and rational and awesome, and one would think that it would be counterproductive, but that's not the way the Clintons work. This is Clinton speak. Look, you have to understand something. The other night, one of my friends who's a Democrat, lifelong Democrat, just wondering, why I'm voting for President Trump and all this. He couldn't stand Tulsi Gabbard. And I said, you know what? Tulsi is awesome. She's great. Oh, well, what Clinton did was bolster the nonsensical, irrational belief that anyone who disagrees with her on foreign policy is a Russian operative. H. Sunset! He'll needs Tulsi's anger energy. H. Sunset, thank you. You have to understand the way the golden moo-moo, and I am the golden moo-moo whisperer, Spacefish, thank you. I am the golden moo-moo whisperer. I am the nobody is a bigger Hillary Clinton supporter than me on YouTube. Nobody, because when Clinton runs, nobody is a bigger Hillary Clinton supporter than me, because when she runs, it will validate every single thing I have said for 4 to 5 years. Every single thing I have said. And it will be not, to toot my own horn, but the biggest political call, one of the biggest of all times. Not to toot my own horn, but, Family dinner, thank you. Nobody loves and respects Hillary Clinton more than me. I just want to tell you, there's a guy, his name is H.A. Bad Man. I call him the Bad Man. And he is perhaps one of the biggest Hillary Clinton supporters on all of YouTube. He bought a whole bunch of NFL beanies for 75% off. So don't think that he's a Broncos or a Jets fan. But he supports my wife more than anyone else. And believe me, I'll let him support my wife anytime he wants. So I don't have to, but I will. Clinton's going to run again, and today, what she did was simply the same thing that she's always done. I mean, this is havoc. This is havoc. This is Tulsi Gabbard's a veteran. But the way the golden moo-moo works is that you got to knock off certain chess pieces. Now, Tulsi Gabbard is at 1 or 2 or 3%. One or 2 or 3%. Now, Tulsi Gabbard said, just run. Trump said, just run. President Trump said, run already. Everyone is saying, run already. Everyone knows what's going on. What's the pretext? To the imbeciles who happen to be working for Madam Cyber Hack, just run. You wait too long now. Wait, you just run. They're not fooling anyone. They are not fooling anybody. And what they did look, you have to understand, Democrats view disloyalty, disobedience, disloyalty. Democrats view policy differences. Democrats view any dissent within their pristine political ranks as an abomination. They view any disloyalty, as akin to treason, and they view Tulsi Gabbard to be the epitome of, they view Tulsi Gabbard to be Bernie Sanders, but with courage and with conviction. And you cannot have that. So Hillary said, okay, who's the one person that could get in the way of me running? Who's the one person when I do run who will call out my wonderful foreign policy record of horrendous catastrophes? It won't be Bernie. I had enough of her emails. Those emails where there was top secret intelligence. I mean, honestly, who wants to talk about that? I feel bad for Bernie. I hope he's healthy. And I say, and I give, my shtick and my voices and my imitations just out of love. Carl's opinion, Sanderford. Carl's opinion. Hey, Mr. Goodman, mods in the chat. You know Hillary way better than I do, so let me bounce this off you. Do you think she did this to cause Tulsi to rise in the polls and cause Biden to decrease, thus clearing her way to run? Carl's opinion, I think she did this because she doesn't think that Tulsi is going to rise in the polls, but she does think that Tulsi's ideas will resonate with voters. So Tulsi's ideas, the polls are rigged. There's no way Klobuchar is the same as Tulsi Gabbard. But Tulsi's ideas take on a life of their own because they happen to be right regarding Clinton. So the preemptive strike, Carl's opinion, it was preemptive. It was go after the opponent before the opponent has even a chance to go after you. And also, Democrats are convinced that Tulsi Gabbard works for Russia. Carl's opinion. Sanderford. Carl's opinion. Thank you as always. Carl's opinion. Thank you as always. Sanderford. Thank you as always. I think what we are seeing is a repeat of 2015 when Clinton systematically destroyed all potential competitors until she was the only remaining choice, however poor a candidate she would actually be. Yes, and also Sanderford and Carl's opinion. Tulsi Gabbard is not the campaign. The Tulsi campaign is not the issue here. Tulsi Gabbard's campaign is not the issue. That's not the issue here because she's not gonna really increase her 2 or 3 or 4% in the polls because the Democratic Party is not a viable political party anymore. It's just a political machine. The issue, the reason that Clinton went after Tulsi Gabbard was for one purpose and one purpose only, because Tulsi Gabbard is the only one who would call out Clinton's email servers or whatever. I mean, the email servers are next, but Tulsi Gabbard's the only person to call out Clinton's horribly failed, catastrophic foreign policy decisions. That's it. And people don't understand, like, the Democratic Party and media do not care about foreign policy. They don't care. There's only 2 candidates talking about foreign policy. I mean, well, one is the president, and everyone else, all the liberals are saying, no, we have to keep Americans in harm's way. All the liberals, think about that for a second. All the Democrats are saying we need to keep Americans in harm's way for this reason or that reason or this reason or that reason. How many Democrats are saying bring home American soldiers to their families, to their sons, to their daughters, to their husbands, to their wives, to their family members, to friends, parents, everything. These human beings, just because they signed up in a volunteer military, doesn't mean that we should simply use them as chess pieces. It doesn't mean that we should use them against as a chess piece against two opposing factions. But see, the Democratic Party is not a traditional liberal or left-leaning policy. Clinton is very, very adept and skilled at political strategy. She's very, very adept, very, very skilled. Very, very capable at shaping a narrative. She shapes the narrative she wants shaped. That's how, listen, the narrative up until recently was, I'm not running. I don't want to run. I'm a normal human being like everyone else. I don't have unbridled ambition not seen since Attila the Hun. Now it's, wait a second, what's going on here? Now it's, wait a second, what's going on here? What's going on? Is she running? I think she's running. It seems like she's running. I've been telling you, ladies and gentlemen. I have been telling you, ladies and gentlemen, since 2017. This is not a political party. This is a political machine. There was never any chance that the exhumed body, known as the former Vice President Biden, would be president. He got not even 1% in 2008. I think he got 0.08% or 0.8%. There was no way that Elizabeth Warren, who is basically Bernie Sanders, a tiny bit more establishment, there's no way that Elizabeth Warren is going to become the nominee. They already cheated Bernie Sanders, so why would they allow Warren? This had nothing to do with Russian interference. The Russians did not interfere. Not one vote was altered by Facebook ads. And not one, really, the people who were affected by the DNC emails weren't going to vote for Clinton anyway. The people who read the DNC emails weren't going to vote for Clinton anyway. The people who didn't care would vote for Clinton. They cheated Bernie Sanders. Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign. They did just a sleight of hand, a public relations, extravaganza. They said, "Oh my God, the Russians interfered because they wanted Trump." This helps the intelligence community. It helps Democrats. It helps Clinton. So everyone just went all in. They did not like Trump. Trump is a paradigm-changing president. This is one of the reasons I like Trump. And when they went after Tulsi Gabbard, they didn't do so because Clinton doesn't think that Tulsi Gabbard is going to win the nomination. Clinton fears Tulsi Gabbard's opinions and her viewpoints and her critique. And if you engage in a preemptive strike, you disparage the only person in the Democratic Party that's not beholden to you. And you do so first because if you noticed, Gabbard never said really anything specifically about Clinton. Maybe the other day something. But nothing disparaging. In fact, it was something that she agreed with Clinton on. This is about shaping the narrative before the narrative could be shaped against the Golden Muumuu. It was, okay, we know what the... look, is anyone on that debate stage going to say anything negative about Clinton? No. Carl's Opinion! Everyone subscribe to Carl's Opinion, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone subscribe to Carl's Opinion. Yes, that makes sense. Take out the problem candidate and the non-interventionist foreign policy. Plus, didn't Tulsi resign from DNC early on in 2015 when she saw what HRC was doing to Bernie? Carl and Cartman. Say hi to Cartman! Carl's Opinion. Say hi to Cartman. Thank you. Thank you, Carl's Opinion. Yeah, I mean, Tulsi Gabbard was basically everything that Bernie Sanders should have been. Everything that Bernie Sanders should have been, Tulsi Gabbard is. I mean, the only person there that isn't beholden, that doesn't worship, and that doesn't feel that they have to prop up Clinton is Tulsi Gabbard. Look, let's say there's an NBA team and there's a draft that takes place, and an NBA team drafts, Jerry Nadler, and you would consistently have to defend that decision. You would consistently have to find some way to even compete with Jerry Nadler at, point guard. This is what essentially they have with Clinton. They absolutely cannot admit that their political party is run by somebody who's unelectable, and that they will elect somebody who's unelectable and lose again. So they're going to go through it, like I said. Rooster Cogburn! If the DNC and Dem candidates don't immediately condemn Hillary, Tulsi should give them run as an independent, draw the line. I'm a Trump Republican. I just donated to Tulsi to help her take out these Dem crooks on. Thank you, Rooster. Thank you. Rooster Cogburn, I think that what's going to take place, Tulsi stated she's not going to run third party. This is also the thing. When they went after Tulsi Gabbard under the whole thing with the third party, you can't run third party because Putin wants that. Putin wants that. You can't run third party because Putin wants that. She's able to, in a very strategic, nefarious, sinister manner, the Golden Muumuu is able to do 5 or 6 different things all at once. You try to label all of Tulsi's ideas as Putin's ideas. You try to label anyone who agrees with Gabbard as a Russian operative, including the senator from Hawaii. You say that any disloyalty or disobedience or any dissent from the Democratic Party is akin to working with Putin. And so you've done so many things. You then pull back and say, well, I didn't say her name. Why is she going after me? That seems egregious. Then you can say, look, to all the Democrats out there who didn't like Gabbard, well, I didn't like her either, and I'm tough enough to go after her. Democrats, what they do early on and all throughout the election is go after themselves. Democrats go after themselves first and foremost. And then they don't really go after Republicans or, conservatives. They just, they say you better vote Democrat or else. And like I said, I don't agree with Tulsi Gabbard on everything, but I will say I enjoy that she has a foreign policy that's the antithesis of a Democratic Party foreign policy. Just, to label somebody a Russian operative when you have more ties to Russia and to the Kremlin, when your husband got $500,000 from a Moscow investment bank, when your husband actually met with Vladimir Putin, I mean, it's kind of, they're brilliant at doing sinister things, but they're kind of failures overall at corruption because they don't win. And Trump, it's really interesting because President Trump has continuously and completely outmaneuvered Democrats and even Clinton. Look, the other day he said, look, Clinton should run. That's what he said the other day. Clinton should run. Why not? Why not? Clinton should run. She's not running. Why isn't she running? Well, she's waiting. She's simply waiting for the right time. Look, who knows when the right time will be? It could be the next debate in November. It could be December. It could be January. It could be a week before Super Tuesday. Biden and Warren are not viable. Now it's just we're waiting. The prophecy that H.A. Goodman prophesied, not to, pat myself on the back, but it's true. In 2017, I saw this 20 miles away because the Democrats are not a political party. That's it. They're not a political party. They're a political machine run by Bill and Hillary. They can actually hide in plain sight. They can actually receive millions through their foundation from Uranium One. Yeah. And guess what? The media is all in. Nobody's going to question why yellow cake uranium, according to the New York Times, was shipped out of the country. Nobody is going to question that. Absolutely, positively, nobody. If anything, they're going to say, well, it wasn't Clinton's to veto, and, it was just a business transaction, and there's no evidence that millions of dollars flowing into the Clinton Foundation had anything to do with it. So why are you even bringing it up? That's something that Trump would bring up. Everything with Democrats is, well, that's what Trump thinks. Even if it makes sense. I mean, they're hilarious. This logic that they have is the same logic, like the same lack of logic that a little child in kindergarten would use. Oh, well, you like this, well, therefore you're this. It's like, no, what? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? So you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where they found endless violations, by the way, in the email review the State Department had. Endless violations. And then the Washington Post is like, oh, well, there's nobody did it on purpose. It's like, okay. How do you set up servers outside of the United States government without doing so on purpose? So, it's and you know what? Trump is going to win again, and it's just a matter of, and I think Clinton understands this, but she, with the way Madam Cyberhack thinks, it's that any possibility of winning, and like she doesn't say, oh, well, you know what, voter turnout's going to be low, the economy's too good. She says, I've convinced enough people, 60 plus million, to vote for me again. If you voted for Clinton, in 2016, you're very likely going to vote for Clinton again. Very likely, but not. The turnout is not going to be the same. Carl's opinion, Mr. Goodman. How far do you think Biden has to go down in the polls versus Warren for Hillary to be able to stay? She's coming in to save the date for the center of the party. I mean, I think it's Carl's opinion. I think it's going to be a matter of the whatever controversy regarding the DNA test for Warren. Warren has no grassroots support. Carl's opinion, thank you as always, very, 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 very much. Warren has no grassroots support. She has pretty much zero grassroots support. Like, zero. Like zero. I'm talking about grassroots support. I'm talking about people who are passionate about Warren. There's not many. There are passionate people about Tulsi and Bernie and Jill Stein. That's about it. Carl's opinion. Thank you, Sam Jage. The incentive to label Tulsi the way Hillary did shows Barr and Durham are actually moving fast. Yes, I agree. I think Barr and Durham are doing they're doing a great job in terms of letting Democrats and Clinton know that a lot of things are taking place. Look, Sam and Carl's opinion and Rooster Cogburn, thank you. Everybody knows what's going on. There's nobody in D.C. right now that really thinks Warren will become president. Nobody. There are people who think Hillary Clinton will become president. There's nobody who thinks Joe Biden's going to become president in D.C., in the liberal or Democratic establishments. Nobody. They know what's going on. The Democrats who think Biden or Warren are going to become nominee are Democrats who do not want to admit that they don't have a political party. So, fart sausage! I think something very big is coming from the DOJ, and they know it. That is why they're throwing desperate Hail Marys, Obama. I think that it's a combination. I'll just call you FS, and thank you so very, very much, just because YouTube, I love the name, but YouTube is interesting sometimes. I think that they know that there's something in the pipeline. They know there's something in the works, but they're not sure. So they just want to go ahead and create as much division as possible. They complain about division, but they're the ones who create it. Nobody had to call Tulsi Gabbard a Russian operative, but it serves so many purposes. And you know what it also shows? It also shows that Clinton does not care about any. It also shows that she doesn't care about the opinions of Tulsi Gabbard voters, but she also is catering to Democrats, the majority of whom do not like at this moment Tulsi Gabbard, because she's the antithesis of their foreign policy. Doug, thank you, FS. Doug F610, thank you as always. Will Trump be vulnerable if impeachment happens? No, I want Trump to be impeached, and I say this as a Trump supporter. I want Doug F610. I want President Trump to be impeached, not because he deserves to be impeached, but it will serve Doug F610. It will serve as a mirror to Democrats. Doug F610, do not worry at all. At all. Do not worry at all. Thank you, Eric H526, by the way. Thank you. Luke St. Martin, Eric H526, always have my back. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Eric. But, no, I mean, what's taking place with Trump and impeachment is that they're running on fumes. Nobody cares about impeachment. Really, nobody cares. Every day need to tweet Queen of the Warmongers use it. Exactly, Phoebe. Exactly. I agree with you. Exactly. No, I mean, what Tulsi did today was something that Bernie should have done. He should have done that, and had he done that, the world would be, America would be in a better situation at this moment. We'd be less divisive. And the division The division is primarily Democrats who just have it, media just have a temper tantrum. Sandiford! Impeachment will empower Trump, which is why Pelosi won't hold a vote. Exactly. So Doug F610, Sandiford, I agree with you. He doesn't care about impeachment. If anything, it's going to help him. If they impeach Trump, that will absolutely help him immeasurably. Immeasurably. Rooster Cogburn! Two things will galvanize us Trump supporters more than anything else. Impeachment and Clinton 3.0. Exactly. Well, you know what? With Clinton, the impeachment bolsters her idea that she's less corrupt than Trump. So what she's been marketing, the whole thing has been scorched earth policy to make Clinton viable. Because her corruption and you're talking about criminal activity that actually is criminal activity. With Trump, it's, he did this. We found out he didn't. But you know what? There's a lot of things that show that he could have. Like, Trump didn't commit any crimes. Clinton did. There's a big difference. Okay, you cannot own servers outside of the United States government with top secret intelligence on them. You just can't. That is not possible. That is not feasible. You cannot do that. You can't do that. You can't simply transfer top secret intelligence outside of the United States government and expect not to break any laws. Angela Goodwin. Billy Boy was impeached because he's smoking a cigar. Trump will be impeached because he does not. Yeah. Well, Trump will be impeached. I don't know. Actually, I don't even think, can I tell you, Angela and everyone else, I don't even think Democrats know what they're going to do to impeach Trump. Because they know they have nothing. That I don't know what they're going to do. I was talking to a buddy of mine yesterday, and I was like, Trump signed the First Step Act, prison reform. He's like, I didn't know about that. He's a Democrat. He's like, I don't know. I didn't know about that. I was like, well, there's nothing, you don't know. I mean, anything that, nothing good that Trump does is actually publicized. It's barely mentioned. It's really barely mentioned. I mean, if you ask a Democrat, well, what is Trump doing that you can't stand? They'll just give you canned answers. They'll give you canned answers, but they're not going to actually, they certainly won't give you anything. If you said, well, what's good? What's something good that he's done? they won't give you anything. They won't say, there's record low unemployment. In fact, if you tell people, hey, listen, there's record low unemployment. Oh, my God. That's not an indicator of the overall healthy economy. It's like, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Low unemployment has always been an indicator of how good the economy is. No economy is perfect, but if you have record low unemployment, you're pretty good. You're running pretty good. High unemployment has always been a bad thing. You do not want people out of work. If you have people working, that's a pretty good thing. Very good thing. So, you have to understand what happened today, ladies and gentlemen. To you and to me, it might be egregious and an example of everything we don't like about the Golden Moo-Moo. But for Clinton, it was exactly what her base. They talk about Trump's base. The real base you have to worry about is the Clinton Democratic Party base, the I am with her people. That's exactly what they want. They do not like Gabbard. They don't like Democrats. The establishment Democrats do not like Tulsi Gabbard. So what they've done, what Clinton did was just say, look, let's, it's like two people that don't like each other. And one of them says, you know what, let's stop this charade. I'm going to go after this person. The only thing is, when it's Clinton, you know that there are ulterior motives. There are so many ulterior motives. And so, I mean, that's the issue. Ian Bloom, Doug F610, thank you. Ian Bloom. Clinton does not let herself get attached to anything. She's not willing to walk out on a 30-second flight if she feels the heat around the corner. For Clinton, action is the juice. Yes. Ian Bloom, yes. Yep. What the both Clintons, Bill and Hillary, have managed to take old school politics. Politics has always been nasty, but they do something different to it. They have found a way to, because there's always favorable coverage, they've found a way to hide within the shadows of morality and say, well, you know, it's true that what we did was actually even worse than what most politicians do, but, you know, it's for a good purpose because we're righteous and, you know. Duty Ron! Sorry. Duty Ron! I didn't see that. Okay, Duty Ron! Finally, we have POTUS who supports our law enforcement military. Hillary hates law enforcement. Yeah, well, she loves Comey. But Comey wasn't law enforcement. I agree with you. Duty Ron, thank you. Thank you, Duty Ron. Thank you. Yeah, Clinton likes any authority figure, or no, Clinton views herself to be an authority figure at all times, but Clinton likes people like Comey who cover up for her. Duty Ron, thank you. Thank you, Duty Ron. Angela Goodwin. When people working, they have no time to plot communist revolution. So a high employment is bad for Democrats. Exactly. Well, it's bad for Democrats just because they weren't able to achieve that. I mean, every positive thing is mitigated. They demean President Trump every single chance they get. Every single chance they get, they just try to demean and disparage. And every single chance they get, they try to erase any accomplishment. So if there's any accomplishment that President Trump engaged in, they just, you know, their whole thing is, look, they're not worried about what's right or wrong. They're not worried. Clinton's not worried about logic or reason or memory. That's why I repeat 5 or 6 themes every single time. Clinton's server had top secret intelligence. Bernie Sanders was cheated. They tried. President Trump, he was one of the Pied Piper candidates. I mean, Clinton's going to run again. There are things that I always repeat. Why? Because Democrats cannot win if memory exists. If you remember that Bernie Sanders was cheated, they don't want that. If you remember that Clinton never had a foreign policy decision that ever worked out, they don't want that. So Ian Bloom, you're right. I mean, both Clintons need the spotlight. Every 4 years, they need the spotlight. The only thing that's going to remove both Bill and Hillary from politics is losing to Trump again. When they lose to Trump again, they'll still try to run in 2024, but she might. Now she runs the political party. She's going to run again. She's going to become Democratic nominee. That's obvious. But in 2024, she'll run again. She might not win 2024 because she will have lost already. Doggy Man 83. Hillary Clinton announced that she investigated herself and has cleared of all charges. Pretty much. That's pretty much an accurate statement of what we're used to. Doggy Man 83, thank you. Ian Bloom. Yeah, I mean, what did Kerry, did Romney, did McCain? I mean, she is omnipresent. She is ever present. I mean, so this person's not running. Why? Because Biden's so good? How does that work? Why is the golden moo everywhere? Everywhere, but you know, she's everywhere, but she's not running. Come on, Bruce Jenner. There is no DNC, only HRC. But does she pull the independent angle? Thoughts? Buckle up, buckaroo. Keep American great again. 2020. No, she's going to be in the Democratic Party. She'll be the Democratic nominee. Bruce, she'll be the Democratic nominee. And you know what's interesting, too? The people who are most petrified are Democrats. But they have no choice. They have no choice. You know, they have no choice. There is no Democratic Party. We see that now. A political party like Clinton has been complaining about Russia. It is so absurd. It is so absurd. Why would Russia be afraid of Clinton or Democrats? Why? Why? That makes no sense at all. No sense at all. Carl's opinion. Thank you very much, Carl's opinion. Thank you so very much. I think you're onto something. Bakari Sellers introduced Hillary at a campaign event in South Carolina in February 2016. He started this Tulsi is a Putin puppet on CNN before the Dem debate and before Hillary this week. Exactly, Carl's opinion. If you've noticed, the loyalty that is demanded to Clinton, it's something else. I mean, this type of, and people believe it, Carl's opinion. People believe it, Bruce. They believe it, Carl's opinion. Do not think for 1 second that for every person like you and me that there aren't 100 or 200 or 1,000 Democrats or 10,000 Democrats who don't believe exactly what Clinton stated. Carl's opinion, they believe it hook, line, and sinker. They really think that Russia fears Clinton. Why? Nobody knows. Even the intelligence community never explained. It's not even a community. They truly and honestly, I know this because I've seen this with my own eyes. They truly and honestly believe that a person like Tulsi Gabbard, a veteran, an honorable, intelligent, wise person who just happens to think differently from most Democrats, they truly believe that either Tulsi Gabbard is working with Putin or that she is inadvertently helping Putin. There's no critical thinking. There's no critical thinking. They almost don't have the ability to think logically. Their minds are only, Democrats, liberals, people on the left only care about one thing, generally, one thing. And that is how reality relates to their electoral chances. So, I mean, the biggest thing is Russian interference. We don't even know if the Russians interfered at all in the 2016 campaign. Teresa King, thank you. So, Facebook ads that targeted that went after Democrats or Clinton. Well, what about the Facebook ads that went after Trump? Because there were some. They were seen. Most of the Facebook ads were seen after the election. Carol, thank you. Yeah. He's good. Flexus Talks, he's good. Carl's opinion, they believe it. Bruce, they believe it. Doggyman83! You're very confident about predicting Hillary will win. Let's give you the ultimate test of psychic powers. Who will be your VP? I have no clue. Doggyman83, I have no clue. Thank you. Thank you for your support and kind words. I have no clue. I honestly don't. I couldn't tell you or anyone. I couldn't tell you. Even Clinton probably doesn't know who her VP will be. There's probably 2 or 3 people she has to think over. Clinton demands loyalty. She demands allegiance. And she doesn't play around. I mean, this is the type of... Trump, they say that Trump demanded loyalty. No, he doesn't. He wanted people who were working for him and would do what, they did for President. People who worked for President Obama were the epitome of loyalty. You had, Duty Ron, yes. I'm wearing this, ladies and gentlemen. I have like about 50 beanies that I got, NFL beanies that I got for 75% off. So, if I wear a Jets beanie, it's just, just looks nice, but I don't really have any, allegiance to any team I wear, really. Well, I like certain teams, but I grew up a Raiders fan. But then they went to Oakland, so I grew up an L.A. Raiders fan. That was my team, an L.A. Raiders fan. Corey, thank you. Rooster Cogburn! Scott Adams says they've been bringing us by fake news. Yeah, he's right. CNN, ABC, New York Times, WAPO. Exactly. And Tulsi Gabbard was interviewed, by the way, by it was ABC. No, it was CBS. And the person was like, "Are you worried about Russian interference?" Like, Russian interference? Why? Because they're so worried? Because actually Trump was more hawkish towards Russia than President Obama ever was? Ever? So, it's just unbelievable. Document 83, Hillary VP will be Republican. I don't know. I don't think so, but anything's possible with the golden one. Anything's possible. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, every single day that passes ultimately proves and backs up everything I've said on this channel. When Hillary lost, and then I kept on talking about Clinton, people were like, "Oh, I'm tired. I don't want to talk about it anymore. It's over. She's like Kerry. She's like McCain. She's like Mittens Romney. She's just a normal presidential candidate. She lost, and she's going to just walk into the sunset with a giant bottle of Grey Goose." That wasn't the case. Democrats, for the past 3 years, they have gone into... Think about it this way. If you're watching this channel, generally, you look at, you never watch CNN or MSNBC, and if you did, you wouldn't care about anything they said. You'd be debunking them at every turn. But you got to think of things in terms of, if you are just you consider yourself, interested... Rooster Cogburn, Mitt Romney would be Hillary's VP. He probably would take the job. But if you were watching CNN every day, or reading the New York Times all the time, or reading the Washington Post all the time, and that is your go-to, you're looking at Trump like, he's the end of the universe. Like, you're looking at Trump like, literally, he's the end of the universe. Okay? If you're watching MSNBC, CNN, the Washington Post, the New York Times, you're thinking that Bernie was never cheated. You're thinking that Clinton was cheated by Russia. You're thinking that Tulsi Gabbard literally works for Putin. That's just what millions of intelligent, good people think. I find it bizarre as well, but that's just, Ian Bloom! Shocking amount of tweets today agreeing with HSE about Tulsi. Exactly. HSE conjecture conjured an alternate reality vortex, and people are still inside. Still, exactly. Ian Bloom. They are not only inside, they've created their alternate universe also. I mean, Ian, and Carl's opinion, thank you. Ian, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. They really, really, really think that they're living, that not only they're morally superior, but they're living in reality. They think there are millions of people who think CNN and the New York Times and the Washington Post and MSNBC is reality. That's what they really think. That's what they really think. Meanwhile, all the ties that anyone has, the greatest ties, come from Clinton to Russia. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been over an hour, and God bless. Thank you so very, very, very much. You have a wonderful evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your support always. To my super chat, thank you very, very, very much. Carl's opinion, thank you. Cartman, thank you. Everyone, thank you so very, very much. Eric H526, thank you. Have a great evening, everyone. And you know what? Just remember, you live in reality. Reality ain't the golden moo-moo's world where everyone who disagrees with Democrats and her is a Russian operative. That's so ridiculous. It's so absurd. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you so very much.